Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I am Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate your support, and thank you to all my returning viewers. You know you have my heart. We are one big community here, and that's what is important, right? So speaking of community, I want to talk to you guys about yesterday. I'm just adjusting my microphone. Yesterday or last night, we all know, probably you know by now, that the Senate did not pass the filibuster reorganization. They didn't pass, changing the rules to the filibuster to a talking filibuster. And we also know that the Voting Rights Act didn't pass. So I'm coming here this morning because like you, I've been pretty stymied, upset, disappointed, get out the dictionary for all the words that we feel. But I want to tell you what the guides are telling me, and that's the most important thing, right? What I do is I speak to my spirit guides and I bring them their information to you. And I just want to say really quickly that I'm teaching a class, my first class on spirit guides, on connecting to your spirit guides. And I've always been able to connect to my spirit guides, especially more so in the last 5 years. I've made a concerted effort to do so. And I have to tell you that when you're doing something, you don't realize what you're doing. But in the process of teaching this class, of course, I have go back to the drawing board and figure out exactly how do I connect to my spirit guides and how can other people connect. And I just want to share this with you because when I was asking them about helper guides versus your main guides and whatever, I asked them about my political guides. And they showed me, this is funny because you guys know that I like to laugh, right? So they showed me this, this is funny. They showed me this like newsroom, right? So it's an old school newsroom, like there's long tables and there's people sitting at all the tables and they're all different colors and shapes and sizes but they're all just head down like working, right? They're not looking up, they're getting their work done. And they sort of show me that these are the guides that I have, that this is like at my disposal, right? Like all these guides are in this newsroom, like, getting the information about Sinema or Manchin or, Thomas or whoever, right? So I said, oh, well, this is me and my human ego brain, right? This is me. I said, well, I can't handle all these voices. This is too much. Can I just pick one person to be like the aggregate? This one guide could be interacting with me, and then all the other guides behind them, the newsroom, would just report to this one guide. So they said, sure, no problem. We'll help you out with that. So they said, which one do you want to have? So I'm looking at all these guides, which look like humans working diligently. And this one guy looks like a younger guy, maybe he's like 21 or 22. This young kid, he's sitting in like the third row back, and he looks up at me and he gives me this cheeky smile. And then how in the cartoons the little light just goes ding in their eyes, like the little sparkle goes off, and he does this little sparkle in his eye. And he's just looking at me like, aren't I cute? Don't you want to pick me? Meanwhile, nobody else is looking up. Everybody's just like furiously working. And here's this, cheeky fellow, and I just looked at him and I said, boy, sit down. What's wrong with you? I'm not going to pick you. That's all I need is some cheeky, no, I want the most nerdy, the most serious, the most never looks up guide. That's the one I want. So I picked this girl who's in the far back right corner in the dim light. The light isn't, like she's like in the darkest, like in the far reaches, right? And she chose to be there, it turns out. She doesn't want the limelight. That's the thing. She loves working behind the scenes, and her specialty is, you would guess it, right? What would her specialty be? She's in the very back. That's very interesting what they just said. She's in the very back, working by herself, not wanting the limelight and not even wanting to be known, right? So guess what she works on? The secrets. She works on the back channels, right? The places in the political world that are the dark underground, the places that don't see light. Isn't that interesting? That's where she works. So I was like, I want her. I want to know what that stuff is. And she looks up, and she's all like, like a mole that's been underground, like she looks up like, huh? Like what? Like she can't even make sense. Like there's people here? Wait, there's people here? Who is that lady? You know what I mean? Like she's totally so engrossed that she doesn't even know what the heck is going on. Meanwhile, I got the cheeky guy. So what they were just telling me while I was finishing that story was, well, Susan, the cheeky guy, so if this woman represents those, dark recesses, where the cockroaches live, which you would think would be most of the Republican Congress at this point. Who does this cheeky guy represent, right? Who is the slimy, really, that's how I don't resonate with people that are really like slick, like super personable and, I guess the introvert in me is like, nope. But anyway, they said, who does he represent, right? The slick, the kind of, I'll never forget that little gleam, that little ding, that little gleam in his eye that went off. I will never forget that. Who does he represent? I'm trying to think, he represents somebody slick. And honestly, McConnell is not slick. I mean, he is slick, but I guess he could be like a McConnell, you know what I mean? But McConnell's really the turtle. I mean, I every time people say that, I think that we malign turtles. I think turtles are great. I hate that. I don't want to put turtles in the same boat with him. But he has maybe a snapping turtle, right? Okay, so I don't know that it's somebody that who, write in the comments, who in the Republican politics has a slick persona that is got that used car salesman kind of smarminess. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I just wanted to share that with you because that happened last week and I was like, I tried to do a whole video about it, but I'm just going to throw it in here. So, okay, to move on, let's talk about it. What is going on with the voting rights bill? What in the heck is going on with Manchin and Simena? What in the heck is going on with Joe Manchin? Listen, here's the deal, folks. All of us psychics, everybody says that we're going to pass legislation to help us vote fairly. None of us thought this was going to pass last night. We had hope, but we knew it wasn't going to pass. Okay, so this isn't a surprise. This is not a surprise. My guides have been saying we're going to have to sort this out in the courts. A lot of it, especially because Texas votes early, and so even if they passed it, it wouldn't affect Texas anyway. So listen, a lot of this work is going to be done in the courts. We saw also yesterday that the Supreme Court, minus one justice, upheld some sort of semblance of normal democracy in that they are allowing Trump's information to be the guides just used two different words at the same time, accessed by Tish James and whoever wants it. It's available. It's not going to be held back. So the Supreme Court did not block that. So, of course, we all know that Justice Thomas is the one who dissented. And we all know what that is about, right? Because his wife is going to be in those papers, right? She is. She's going to be in those papers. Justice Thomas is going to be exiting stage right pretty soon. And that is something that we have all been saying. There's going to be at least two justices that leave the court and possibly three. And they vacillate. I think Thomas is a done deal. But I also see some other justices, Kavanaugh, a lot. There's actually three that could be going at any time. And especially as the dark money becomes known, right? That darkness gets illuminated. So this is good. I want to tell you that there's some good things happening here, okay? And I want you to understand kind of the lay of the land according to my bling spirit guide, my anyway, and my other spirit guide. With the whole team. I have like an entire newsroom. So anyway, let's go back to last night. Let's go back to the Senate. So here's what my guides, because I was, I'll be honest with you, I'm a human, obviously, and I get down, I get depressed, I get, sometimes it's hard not to just be depressed that this is happening. But it seems like they're telling me this is part of a bigger scheme, a bigger plan, if you will. And here's how that looks. First of all, if they used a couple of different analogies, because I wanted to use a sports analogy, which I'm not a big sports person, but it seems to fit. So then I asked them about another analogy, so they gave me two, which are hilarious. So the one analogy is, okay, so we were on the field and we were playing, and to be honest with you, I don't even know if we were playing offense or defense. I don't even know. I swear to God. Whatever we were playing, it's time for the other. The other team is now taking the field, okay? Let's just say, okay, right. So defense can be offense sometimes, right? So I feel like we were playing offense. Now we're going to be playing defense. Guess who is in charge? Guess who's the captain of our defense? And her name just totally went out of my brain. And I can see her name, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is now in charge. Okay? Congress, the Senate gave it its best shot. Congress is coming back. Now, why? Now, how is that possible, or why is that possible? Well, because she is the captain of the Jan 6 Commission, and that is the play we have before us. That is the play we have before us. We are going to move forward using the Jan 6 Commission. We are going to drag these people through the mud, and we are going to make it primetime TV. And we're going to make it last as long as we can, because what's going to happen is several senators are going to be implicated, not only in the Jan 6, but this Jan 6 Commission and the papers that the Jan 6 is uncovering. You got to understand, will just lead you to more things that are dark money that have nothing to do with Jan 6, but it has everything to do with the dark money that funds Jan 6, that also funds some of these other senators and Congress people. Okay, so the light is going to shine on all of this. So the ball went from the Senate back to the Congress, and Congress, led by Nancy Pelosi, is going to take this up, and she's going to run that thing down the field. And just to mix all the metaphors together, she's going to slam dunk it. She is. She may be riding on somebody's back, or 5 or 6 people's backs, because she's so short, but she's going to do it. It's going to happen. Mark my words. Injustice has happened. Justice will come looking for those that did the injustices. Okay, this is going to happen. Period. End of case. So yes, we maybe suffered a loss in the Senate, but also the guides want to talk about that. What did we learn last night? Nothing new, but we did put the complete finalization of what we know about Sinema and Manchin. Without a doubt. We have no doubt at this point. Sinema and Manchin have been jerking the Democrats around for 5 months, saying, I'll vote for this, or I'll get, Manchin at one point said, I'll bring 10 Republicans. He brought 0 Republicans to the table. Sinema, I would vote for this, or I'll do that. They basically strung us along for 5 months and wasted our time. They wasted the entire legislative season of Joe Biden's first term in office. What do we know? We know that they're bought and paid for. We know they're not Democrats. We know that. We know who bought and paid for them. Starts with a K. And it has brothers in it. So these people have bought and paid them. Period. I will just, that's not up for discussion. Okay, now let's go back. So we've talked about, we understood now what happened in the Senate. We understand that Sinema and Manchin are a no-go non-starter. They're not Democrats. Okay, fine. We know that. Let's stop let's just stop caucusing with them. Why are we caucusing with them? Okay? What, you say, oh, we can't get anything done without them. That's why. Well, guess what? We're not getting nothing done with them. So throw them out. Now, again, what's happening? The ball got thrown to Nancy Pelosi. What is she doing? Lighting a fire under all those senators and congresswomen as well. But you better believe that there's fire under those senators. They're going, the ones that haven't said they're going to retire are going to be retiring. We have 23 senator seats coming open. We have 23 chances to take the Senate. Right? That is your marching order. That is my marching order to donate to all of these senators that are running. And I mean, donate heavily. Donate what you can. $5 a month, $100 a month. I don't care. Make calls, get involved. We have to get involved. For instance, here in Texas, I'm trying to see Beto winning for governor. I have never seen him winning for governor. I'm just praying and trying for that to happen. But for instance, our lame governor has, like 5 times more money, 5 times, more like 8 times more money in the bank than Beto does. And yet Beto has more money than any Democrat that's run. So Beto's doing a great job raising money. But you see the inequity here, right? So we have to get involved, guys. We have to. We cannot just say this is screwed and then go home and forget about it. We have to get involved. Now, it doesn't mean sacrificing your mental health. Repeat after me. It does not mean sacrificing my mental health. You have to be healthy. You have to take care of yourself. If you don't fill up your cup, you have nothing to give to your kids, your spouse, your work, your community, or your senator. Okay, so you have to take care of you first. Okay, that's number 1. But definitely put working for a senator, any senator, on that list of people that you want to pour from your cup into their cup. Okay, so we've talked about how the Congress is going to make a difference, and so these Senate seats are coming up for grabs, and it's just like Linda G says, they're going to be ants marching to the polls. There's so many more of us than them. So many more. If they knock out 20% of us using these crazy voting laws that they have going on, we've got that covered. This is not a foregone conclusion that they're going to win by redistricting and restricting voting. That's not a foregone conclusion. It's going to make our lives harder. It's going to make our work harder, but it doesn't mean they're going to win using this tactic. It means more of us have to come out. Now, that leads me to the next thing the guides have been talking about. When I talked earlier about it being a bigger part of a bigger plan. So in my consolation this morning, when I was drinking my coffee, and for Christ's sakes, why don't I have a coffee with me right now? I don't know. They showed me this picture. Okay, so this is all I can do is tell you what my political spirit guides are telling me. Okay, having the Voting Rights Act would have been helpful. Okay, it would have been helpful. It wouldn't have solved the problem. This is what they want to say to you. The Voting Rights Act would have helped us for sure, but it wouldn't have solved the problem. So how do we solve the problem? We get in the streets and we march. We protest. Non-violently, peacefully, but we show up. Folks, we have to be the ones to show up. If we don't show up and show the media that we have the numbers and that we care, then we don't care, right? We don't care. And I feel like Spirit and the universe is asking us, what will humans do? What are the humans going to do? You know, they've wrecked their environment. What are the humans going to do now? They're losing their democracies. What are the humans going to do now? Race relations is going down the crapper. What are humans going to do now? What are we going to do? Are we going to stay in our houses and play Fortnite? Are we going to stay in our houses and watch Netflix? What are we going to do? Yes, this is a test. You better believe it's a test. Getting the Voting Rights Act passed would have helped us. And in some ways, it would have been much easier, right? And yes, we're going to have help. The courts are going to help us. And I believe me when I say the courts are going to help us. You have to understand, there's going to be a sea change. The Supreme Court is going to change. The Senate's going to change. And to some degree, the Congress is going to change. And yes, we are going to have control over the House and the Senate. Okay? But that doesn't fix all the problems. We still have to say what we want. We have to wake up out of our slumber. We have to get involved. Now, of course, COVID has kept all of us on the sidelines, and rightly so. There's no reason we should have been marching during this time. But this summer, we have to. It's getting to the point that we have to march with masks on, then that's what we have to do. Okay? That's just what we have to do. We can lay down and defeat, or we can join Nancy Pelosi, and we can join Biden. We can join all these Democrats that stood up last night and actually debated. We can join and help them win this, bring democracy back, even bring peace and justice back. But we need everybody. We can't just expect somebody else to do it for us because, as you can tell, it's not happening. So that's what I want to tell you. The next thing I wanted to say, I was going to say this for a separate video, but I'm going to throw it in here very quickly, and I will say that I'm going to come back to this topic, okay? And those of you still watching, and you said, oh, Susan's on her soapbox, well, those of you that left, well, you're going to miss out. Because here's the thing. What is up with Justice Thomas? What is up with Justice Thomas? What is up with this man? Why would an African-American man vote against the interests of, people that he should be represented? Why would he be against anybody? But specifically, you would think that this guy has walked in the shoes. I haven't. I don't know what that's like. But he does. He should have their interest at heart. Shouldn't he? Why doesn't he? Why did he sell out? Why did he become this anti-minority guy? Why? Well, let me tell you why. This is a big deal. Sit down. It's going to be surprising. But, I am a psychic and a medium, and I do dabble in the dark arts, as they were. I don't do past lives. It's not something that I actively do. But when my guides bring a past life forward, then I share it with my client. Basically, I channel my readings. It's not like me sitting here using some divination form. I just stepped it aside, and the guides tell me whatever my client needs to know. Or if they have questions, they answer those questions, right? So sometimes if a client has a past life that is particularly informative to this life, they'll bring that past life for me to tell them about, okay? So the guides dropped this little bombshell on me, and that is that Justice Thomas last three, maybe all of his incarnations. Anyway, many of his last incarnations, he was a white person. Okay, now you think, well, what does that matter? Well, it matters if you were a racist white person. Now, of course, this is for entertainment purposes only, and I would say the word allegedly, and I would say that I'm a psychic medium, and that's it. So, Justice Thomas was, I'm just going to say a racist person. I'm not even going to tell you the things that I see that he did, but let's just say that he was actively against anybody that wasn't white. Let's put it to you that way, actively. Okay, so he acted out on his aggression. He acted out on his opinions. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying to you? So here he is. So in this lifetime, he decided to advance his soul, right? He maybe got into this track that he couldn't get out of. And, you know, repeating this kind of life over and over again, right? He just kept falling back into the energy. The energy imprints on us. Our past lives imprint on our current lives. Okay, so if you had a past life where you were burned, you probably have a real fear of fire in this life that you cannot explain. That's how you know you have a connection to a past life. Something in this life that is very prominent in your life, either as a fear or as a love, that you can't explain. That's how you can explain it. So in this life, this man decided to become, to try and change his race so that he could potentially understand from a different viewpoint this human life. But it didn't work. It did not work. Now, very quickly, I want to explain to you I want to explain to you in a different way how this also happened to me. I grew up, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Okay, it's a pretty kind of an urban city, but in a very red state, obviously, in a very white state. But Louisville itself is a very mixed state with a pretty good mixture of black and white and now some Hispanic, okay? I grew up in a family that was racist, point blank racist. I had 4 siblings that were older than me that were all racist. My parents were racist. I came out of the womb not racist. Literally, out of the womb. I remember being 5 and telling my family not to say racist things. Why would I do that? How could I grow up in a family that was so predominantly racist? My mother went and protested against busing, where we integrated the schools. She stood on the lines, and can you believe it? I spent my life telling my dad to stop being racist. I harassed him until I harassed him out of it. Now, how did that happen? How did I pop out not racist? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because I had a life that could have been either my last life or the one before. It was the one before my last life, where I was an African American man. And they brought me that past life so clearly, viscerally. I could feel my hands. I could see. It was real, 3D real. In that life, I was a very tall, very big man and very strong. And I worked on trains. And I worked on something to do with their wheels. And this job was only allowed white people to work in it. But I had a lot of things going for me. I was really big and strong, so I could move the wheels. And I had a finesse. I just understood the mechanics innately. I had no education. I innately understood the mechanics of what needed to be done. And I had a way with them. I could fix them when no one else could. And I saw myself sitting in this chair by myself because no white people would come around me. And I was sitting in this chair and I was working on this wheel, and I was very content. I was very content to be by myself. I was very content to work on this thing that I loved. I loved my job. And for the most part, people left me alone because I was valuable. Because no one could fix the things that I could fix. No one. So I got a lot of grace, a lot of passes that other other people in my situation did not get. Okay, so they showed me that snippet, but they also showed me the how people looked at me. I was very tall and I was very big. I was very broad-chested. I was just a big guy. And I can see through his eyes how people looked at me, how people were afraid of me, and how that fear became anger, right? And wanting to control me or put me down. But literally, the people that owned this whatever train yard protected me, because if I went away, they were screwed basically, right? So I saw that. I knew how I was treated. I knew how other people were treated. I knew that I got a pass. I knew that my family and other people didn't get a pass. So I knew the injustices. I saw the injustices. I saw the injustices with my own family. I saw my brothers and sisters get beat. I saw all that, okay? Now, the beauty of that life is really what, on my deathbed, that was the beauty. I'm in a bed, like a hospital bed, but not obviously, this was back in I just heard 1800s. I'm in a bed, and I have clean blankets and sheets, which is important to me because I don't think people did. And I'm surrounded around my bed with people, and they're my grandchildren and my children and my family. And as I'm laying in that bed and I'm looking at all my especially my grandchildren, my heart is so full. I feel like I have, given something, like I've given hope. These young grandchildren, and they weren't young, they were probably teenagers maybe, or a little bit older, but I had hope for them. I saw hope for the world. I saw hope for them. I saw them being able to get an education. I saw them being able to rise above. And I had so much love for that. And that was how that ended. That's how that whole past life ended. And so I can tell you that past life influenced me and caused me to come out of the womb not a racist, because it informed who I am. Do you understand what I'm saying? It informed me. It changed me. So our past lives, the energy of the past life, kind of stays with us. It kind of flavors your life. Now, something to say is that if you had a past life where you burned, it doesn't mean you're going to burn in this life, but it does mean that you have a fear of that. Or you drowned. You may have a fear of drowning, an unnatural fear of drowning. It doesn't mean you're going to drown in this life, right? It just means that it flavors it, that you feel the energy of it. And so when we feel the energy of something, we tend to react to it, okay? So back to Justice Thomas. We have a guy that was a racist. I can't say all the words I want to say, but he was... they're helping me with words. He was an unevolved soul. He was an unevolved soul. So they gave him a chance. They're like, okay, and he made this decision. We make the decisions when we go over there. When we cross over, we look at our lives. We want to do better. We want to evolve as a soul, right? Because we don't have the amnesia that we have down here. Up there, we get to take the blinders off and see how we did. Down here, it's like pin the tail on the donkey, right? We can't see anything. We're just trying to make the best of it going forward. And how you do that is through love and compassion. But sometimes we can't find that love and compassion. Sometimes we allow the energies from our past lives to have too much influence in our current life. And that is what's happened to this man. That is what's happened to him. He is a white racist. in a black man's body. For real. So if that doesn't get me kicked off YouTube, nothing will. But so I just wanted to share that with you. I am actually going into a reading now, but I wanted to share that with you because I think, you know, look, if you can take some time and think about what the guide said here today, you can have hope. You can see this as a game of chess instead of, you know, we've lost. We haven't lost anything. The game is not over. It's never over. It's always something in play. There's always a play to be made. And you better believe that that little tiny woman, Nancy Pelosi, is going to make a play. This is her last term in the House. I truly believe that. And so she's got nothing to lose. It doesn't matter. You know, she doesn't care about the votes, you know, about getting reelected anymore. I think she cares about history at this point and which side of history she will be judged. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If nothing else, maybe it was a little entertaining. Who knows? But thank you for joining me. Listen, if you like this kind of content, please join the 300 new subscribers and hit the subscribe button. All that does is allow you to see my next video. It doesn't cost you anything. I really, really am grateful for all of your support. Really and truly, we are one big, magical, amazing, beautiful community. And all of us, I think, certainly me, I would be crazy as a loon right now if it wasn't for this community and all of the psychic readers, all the tarot readers, all the people here, all of you in the chat, all of you in the comments, all the moderators. I am just so grateful to all of you. Thanks to you all, we've all found a home. We've all found a place where we belong. So thank you so much. Please take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you again soon, right here on this channel. Thanks again. For entertainment purposes only.